Welcome to the Bible Stories with Gian channel. What if I told you there's a powerful ancient civilization whose influence still echoes today? A people who once ruled the Mediterranean, known for their daring voyages, their trade skills, and even the creation of the first alphabet, yet vanished from history almost without a trace. Let's dive into the story of the Canaanites, the people who shaped ancient history, but left us with questions about who they were, where they went, and how they impacted our world today. The story of the Canaanites is one that begins in the ancient lands of the Levant, which is part of the area we know today as Lebanon, Israel, and Syria. In the Bible, the Canaanites are described as descendants of Canaan, a grandson of Noah. They were a diverse people, known for their many gods, their unique customs, and their mastery of trade across the Mediterranean. In time, they would also become known as the Phoenicians, famed for their seafaring skills, and later as the Punic people. As we journey into this story, it's important to remember that while the Canaanites were skilled in trade and navigation, they were much more than merchants. They were the innovators who created the world's first phonetic alphabet, a system that would influence the development of modern writing. This alphabet allowed different cultures around the Mediterranean to communicate more easily, sharing stories, wisdom, and knowledge. The Canaanites thrived in city-states, each one powerful and largely independent, such as Tyre, Sidon, and Byblos. These cities became hubs of trade, and each contributed to a remarkable network that stretched from Cyprus to Greece and even to Italy. Their ships sailed the open seas, carrying goods like spices, textiles, and the precious purple dye made famous by the Phoenicians. This dye, produced from tiny sea snails, became so valuable that it was only worn by royalty and the very wealthy, giving rise to the term royal purple. Their influence wasn't just limited to trade. The Canaanites left their mark on the cultures they encountered. Through their travels, they shared their technology, stories, and religious beliefs, becoming an important link between East and West. The Greeks and Romans would later credit the Phoenicians for introducing written language, and even the Bible refers to them in several passages, noting both their skills and the challenges they posed to the Israelite people. But the Canaanite story is one of both resilience and eventual decline. As powerful empires rose around them, Egyptians, Assyrians, Babylonians, and later the Romans, the Canaanites became intertwined with other cultures. These invasions and conquests eventually absorbed their identity, mixing them with other Semitic, Indo-European, and even Arab groups. Over generations, the distinct culture of the Canaanites and Phoenicians blended with the people around them, transforming into a tapestry of traditions and heritage. Today, the Canaanites may no longer exist as a separate people, but their legacy lives on in surprising ways. The modern-day Lebanese, Syrians, and even some Jewish communities carry DNA that traces back to the Canaanites, showing the genetic influence that persists thousands of years later. The alphabet they created remains one of their most enduring gifts, a tool that changed the way humans communicate forever. The Canaanites teach us that identity is not always about preserving a name or a nation. Sometimes, it's about the influence we leave behind. Though the Canaanites no longer exist as a distinct group, their contributions live on in the languages we speak, the trade networks that connect us, and the cultural exchanges that shape our world. Their story, like the story of many ancient peoples, is one of resilience, innovation, and transformation. A reminder that even as empires rise and fall, the spirit of humanity endures. Thank you for joining us on this journey through time, unraveling the mysteries of the Canaanites. Remember, our history is filled with incredible stories waiting to be discovered, and each one can inspire us to see the world a little differently. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories from the ancient world.